Pour some whole milk into your limoncello. I'm sure that's the recipe.
Or pour some limoncello into your tea in the morning.
Yeah, sure.
Your cereal, just,
Live life.
Yeah.
who says it's not a snack?
I'm Dan Souza, and I'm joined by my longtime friend and colleague, Morgan Bolling, and we are in the test kitchen. Morgan, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Dan?
I'm good. I have Rice Krispie treats on the brain.
Ooh, that's a good thing to have on your brain.
You're not surprised by that because I think you probably do too.
Yes, I do. I definitely do. I've been eating a lot of Rice Krispie treats.
You have. So I love Rice Krispie treats. I grew up loving them. I have a lot of history with them personally, but we also have a lot of history of them here at the Test Kitchen. And we just released 10 brand new, super creative Rice Krispie treats up on the America's Test Kitchen app and the website.
Yeah.
You had a lot to do with that.
Yeah, so we've been gathering these different Rice Krispie treats. We've had a handful of them developed over the last few months, and there's such an interesting mix that are coming out. And so, yeah, we're releasing a couple a day, and yeah, I'm really excited. Have you gotten to try a lot of them?
I've gotten to try some of them.
Okay.
But so before we get there, let's back up,
Okay.
and I want to explain to folks that may not know this that we have this like weird history at ATK with them.
We have a lot of baggage with Rice Krispie treats here.
Yes, baggage and also a lot of fun, but a lot of
fun.
competition.
Yes.
So we would do this really fun competition when we were filming our TV show, sort of in the back kitchen, where we would have people that were working on the show just like develop a recipe for Rice Krispie treats just for internal. Like we weren't putting these up on the site or anything like that.
Well, when we used to film, you had to be really quiet because we were actually cooking, but like, and
Yes.
I think it evolved because Rice Krispie treats are something you can make quietly. Like you can't sear a steak or fry. So we started
think
making
you're right.
Rice Krispie treats.
I
Yeah.
think you're totally right. Yeah. And it was the kind of thing like we could just have like the things around and you could easily just throw them together and you can make batch after batch. So from a development perspective, it's really fun too.
Yeah.
But I remember there was like, it turned into this competition where like, there actually became like a prize, like a cash prize that you could win and there were bragging rights. There's a really silly video up on YouTube of one of these competitions from like, I don't know, it's gotta be a decade ago probably.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It was actually, I think it was the year before I started. So that'd be like 12 years ago.
12 years ago. And so we're bringing it back. And I think they're a really great template for just being super creative. And we have really creative people here on staff. And so it's really fun to kind of get a peek into their brain.
Yeah.
So I think we have a dozen of these up on the America's Test Kitchen app that you can get right now or up on the website as well. You'll see them on our social media. So tell me about a couple of them. Like what are the ones that sort of stood out to you?
Okay, so there are a lot. I think there's one that's a Szechuan peppercorn peanut one that's so interesting. And like you'd think Szechuan peppercorn's a little spicy, but it's just a really nice little burn. And it's sweet too. So it's a really nice balance. There's also
That's fun. So it's like sweet, savory, and it's got a little of that like numbing.
spice.
Sichuan-
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, that's really fun.
It's really fun. Ben, who's one of our residents right now,
Mims,
he developed this one that's a scallion and oh my gosh, and seaweed. So it's like it looks like onigiri. It like looks like
cute.
like something
Yeah,
you would
yeah.
get at a Japanese restaurant. And so it's so fun. It's really interesting. It's also a little like savory in itself, and it's really fun. Like you put it out, and people are like, "What is that?" But they're really into it. It tastes really good.
Oh, that's really cool. So that play on like actual rice and it has that beautiful look to it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, is it like sweet at first and then sort of savory or there's a little bit of balance to it?
I feel like there's a good balance. I also think sesame, there's also a black sesame banana one, but I think sesame itself can kind of lend itself to sweet or savory.
True,
So
yeah.
I feel like that one in particular is like a little like sweet, then yeah, a little savory, but very balanced, all things considered.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, and then there's some that are like a little more, not straightforward, but there's like a chocolate orange one, and there's a matcha strawberry one that's really pretty. Like it's nice if you want to save it to make around the holidays. It's bright green, and it's got some like red in there. It's also delicious.
This is like the drink of the moment, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Of that,
It's
like
like-
matcha strawberry, so it's like a play on that.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's really fun. Did anyone do like just straight down the middle, like super plain vanilla brown butter kind of thing?
I don't think so. We
No.
don't have time for that.
They're much too fun for that.
Yeah, no, we have some recipes on our website that are just a straightforward Rice Krispie, which probably would
Yeah.
be great because maybe then people can go and like mix and match and be inspired and play off that. But for this, we were going like a little out there, a little, maybe not even out there, but just a spin on something classic and something
Yeah.
that would surprise people and be interesting. And it is a lot of personality from the people in the kitchen or like people who are developing them. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, it's a great way to get to know your favorite test cooks and stuff more, to be like, oh, that's where they went with that.
Yeah.
I grew up just like loving Rice Krispie treats, feeling it's so simple, but it's like chewy and sweet. And what I would do is my mom would make like a big like 13 by 9 pan of them. They would be sitting on the counter, and there would just be like a knife just sitting on them at all times. And you just go over and cut out a little piece, a bigger piece, whatever, like throughout the day.
And just slowly shrinks.
And it was like maybe last a day and just sort of go there. But no, I'm super, super excited about these. Did anyone do any torching or anything like that? So you get like that sort of brulee effect?
No, I feel like we did do, one of them has this almost like Jess Rudolph melted marshmallows and then drizzled it over the top. So it almost looks like cobwebs, and hers are the black sesame ones.
Oh, cool.
So it kind of has this fun Halloween spin. But we played with torching, but I don't think any of them ended up being torched, but I should double check.
Well, maybe next time around.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
like the list sounds incredible. So there's a churro one with a spicy chocolate sauce, which I've seen is actually like adorable and looks like churro.
Yeah.
A lot easier to make than actually doing that.
Yes, exactly. I know. They're so easy to make, too. All of them.
Yeah,
In
they're so
general,
easy,
Rice
right?
Krispies, yeah.
The mango sticky rice one, that's like one of my favorite desserts of all time. And then there's a pistachio cardamom chocolate one, which just like sounds incredible.
Yeah, that was actually based off, it started as a Dubai chocolate bar inspired one, but then we it was actually Erin, so it's her recipe, and so she added a little cardamom, and then we kind of pushed that forward. But it is that chocolate, pistachio, and cardamom. It's really nice.
I love it. I love it. Awesome. Well, so all of those recipes are available on the America's Test Kitchen app. You'll find them in our newsletters, on social media right now. We're making a really big deal about them. So check them out, and let us know in the comments if you're, love Rice Krispie treats, if you have your own sort of spin on it, but you got to check those out. So this is really exciting. This kind of ties together. Our guest today is responsible for one of the Rice Krispie treats that's up on the site. And so I'm really excited to bring her out. I think we're going to have a wonderful conversation. So today's guest started her culinary career with none other than Ina Garten. She is the author of a new book called Cooking in Real Life, which is also a bestseller. She has a knack for really great, approachable, practical home cooking, and she makes her home in the Hudson Valley surrounded by all the best produce. Please welcome to the podcast, Lidey Heuck. Lidey, welcome to the Test Kitchen.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
We are so pumped to have you today. You have such a fascinating resume. You have one of the most interesting CVs in the biz that I'm really excited to dig into. You have a really interesting lens on food, which I want to pick your brain, find out like how it all works.
Yeah.
So I think we can learn a lot from you. But before we do that, I like to pour tea for all of my guests. And I like to pick a tea based on what I know of the person. So I've chosen one for you today that I really love. I think it's actually perfect for this time of year. It's like really warm. It's kind of honeyed. It is a black tea, but it is made from an oolong variety. So a variety that is normally made into oolong, but they actually made a black tea with it.
Okay.
And so I'm pouring a little bit into this glass here so we can take a look at that gorgeous color.
Beautiful.
It's like copper, a little bit dark there. And then some into these tiny, adorable little cups that my friend made me.
They're really cute.
All right. So the reason that I chose this tea for you is I feel like you look at it and you're like, okay, it's a black tea. I know black tea, right? It's like it's something you've expected and that sort of thing. But because it's made with an oolong variety, it's got this little special quality that just makes it like that much more interesting. And this is how I see almost all of your cooking and your food. Like you, in terms of your personality as well, but there's something about your food where it's like, okay, I know that. That is like this. On the cover of your book here, there's corn, there's pasta, there's tomato, but there's always that extra little something special to it that you maybe need to look a little bit deeper to find out. So that's
Thank you.
That's my pitch.
That's really nice.
Let's give it a try.
Cheers to that.
I like it.
I like it too.
So this is such a cool tea. If you smell it, and I don't want to influence you. Sometimes, when you're tasting food, if someone says it smells like this.
Yeah.
But do you guys pick up anything on the nose?
I'm not like a tea connoisseur, but I definitely think it smells kind of like weedy or like hay.
Yeah, I could see that. See, I was like, it smells like black tea.
Smells like black tea. So black teas are often very floral. So I definitely get some good floral aspects here. But this almost, to me, like it almost smells like we've already added some lemon to it and some honey.
I
Like
see that.
it's honey.
Oh, I see the honey.
Honeyed,
Yeah,
honeyed and lemon.
yeah.
But it's wonderful. It's brisk. It's got
Yeah.
a little bit of bitterness. It's really like full
But it's not too bitter, which is nice. Like I'm
Yeah.
the kind of person who I'll just like pour tons of milk and honey in my tea and to drink it straight. I'm always like, it's too intense. This is really nice. and-
Balanced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So pulling back on the brewing time a little bit can get you something lighter. But yeah, it's just a gorgeous tea. So it's from the Yunnan province in China. And yeah, it's got that little something special.
Really good. Can I ask you a tea question?
Yeah.
So normally when I make tea, I'm already hearing the mistake as I say this or as I think this. I just put the tea bag in and I just leave it in forever.
Forever?
I mean, until I'm done drinking the tea.
Oh, you don't ever take it out.
I don't ever take it out, and I think that's probably why I think that tea is bitter.
Yes. Is there a question in there?
No, I think it's just a realization about myself, and also it does lead to a question, which is like, do you find there's like an ideal time to steep your tea?
Yes. So definitely the two factors involved in making tea are, well, I guess there's really three. There's water temperature, there's the amount of tea you're using, and then the steeping time. And changing those up can give you really different results. Tea bags are like powdered tea inside, so they're designed to give up their flavor really rapidly. So if you have hot water and a tea bag, you're looking at a pretty short steep time. It could be like even a minute or something like that.
Wow.
Oh, wow. So you're going
I
crazy.
mean, I'm just going unlimited, but I probably drink it within 15 minutes. So I'm
Okay.
going 15 times the
Yeah.
strength.
Well, so here's the thing: is you're also covering like all manner of sins. I don't know why I'm getting so like sin and confession style.
But you
here.
have strong feelings about
I'm
tea.
starting to feel really bad about myself.
Is you're covering all manner of sins with the stuff you're adding to it, right?
Right.
So the milk, it's going to cover up tannins. It kind of it really
kind of masks.
softens a
Yeah,
lot of
that's true.
that.
That's true.
And then the honey's going to balance out bitterness.
Yeah.
So you're good.
That's probably why I like it to be stronger, because I'm adding all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like if you just
Yes.
added all of that to like a tea that you brewed for a minute, it's going to taste like watery, milky. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. You need to sort of balance that. But that sounds lovely. I mean, all tea is great.
I'll make it for you sometime.
Yeah. Please.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Next time we'll have you.
I'll bring my own tea bag. I don't want to use your. I don't want to use your good stuff and just.
I love the loose leaf stuff. If you get to like look at it and it steeps kind of slower, and you draw a lot of good flavors out of that. So Lidey, sitting in front of us is this absolutely gorgeous book. This is your debut cookbook, Cooking in Real Life. And I feel like it is the perfect pairing of a name and a concept and kind of the cooking that you do. Cooking in Real Life. Feels like you are all about sort of this like doable, approachable stuff with a little bit of special quality to it. And I'm wondering, like, has this always been the sort of cooking that you loved? Is this how you grew up? Like, where does this all sort of come from?
Yeah, I can't say that I grew up. I mean, I talk about this a little bit in the book. I can't say that I grew up in a household where cooking was really the focus, or especially recipes. Like my mom worked, my dad worked. It was a very busy household, and so dinner was very much like an afterthought, or like let's just get something on the table. And it wasn't really until my first job. I might be jumping ahead here, but should I jump ahead here?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Yeah.
Because
What was your first job?
well, not my first job. My first job was bussing tables in my uncle's restaurant.
Okay.
But
Still in food.
yeah, that's true. That's true. My second job in food. I worked for Ina Garten, the cookbook author, and that's really where I learned how to write a recipe, how to think about recipe development. And I think it's so important to bring up because it really shaped so much of kind of the philosophy that I have, which is trying to make something that is simple but delicious, and something that you can really fit into a busy day and isn't going to be this gargantuan project, but is still going to deliver and be really delicious and memorable and something you're going to come back to. And I think in recipe development, you both know this, like making something simple is actually a really big challenge.
Hard, yeah.
Yeah, because if you can use like unlimited ingredients and you can use a million different sauces, like you can come up with something that's really delicious, but trying to pare back and come up with things that a home cook is going to be able to replicate easily and not be like super stressed out at the end of it, I think is the ongoing challenge for me and kind of shapes like how I think about every recipe that I develop.
I love that. Well, it feels like you had like the master of that style of cooking as your teacher.
Yeah.
I find it so fascinating. Can you walk me through a little bit of like how you ended up working for her and like what was in your head when you were like, I'm gonna go work for
like
you
your
know
first job in
Yeah.
the food
the
world is
icon
like
of this industry.
That's sort of what was in my head, like what you just said. I was graduating from college. I hadn't figured out what I was going to do. I had loved to bake and cook and had cooked with friends, but honestly, I didn't know about the huge range of jobs you could have in food. I pretty much thought it was like chef or like maybe magazine, like publishing world. And now that I'm in it, and for anyone who's in it or curious, like there are so many different jobs you can have in food, and it's an amazing array. Anyway, I basically knew someone who worked with Ina, and I wrote her a letter and just introduced myself and said, I'm 21. I like don't know anything about anything, but I really am a fan of your work, and I would love to come and help you with social media. That was kind of my angle, because I was like, what else could I possibly bring to the table?
Sure.
And she had just so happened to be looking for someone to join her team and do that at the time. So the timing was perfect. It was like a very fortunate lucky moment.
And she actually opened your letter and read
It was an email.
An email.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But it was written like a letter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like personal.
I'd like to think, I had like the margins aligned and everything. She did open it, and she had taken out an ad in the local paper to look for someone, I think.
gosh.
So it was like,
What year is this roughly?
this was 2013.
2013. Okay.
Yeah, and so
wow.
this was kind of when like Instagram was around, but it was very much like the early days of Instagram. And so that's something that I started with her. And it started with social media, but it was a small team. And so very quickly I got involved with the recipe process and it started with a lot of grocery shopping and assisting. And that's still something I do for myself to this day. So it was a good skill to learn.
Grocery shopping is very important.
Yeah. And knowing your way around a grocery store.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I could do a whole podcast episode on grocery shopping. I love it so much.
You have good strategy?
I do have a strategy. I have a strategy which is go into the grocery store and skip the produce section and go to the pantry section and get all the heavy stuff that doesn't need to be cold and put that on the bottom of your cart first and then go around the perimeter. Because otherwise you're putting lettuce, you're putting herbs in first. I mean, this is a very cart sort of centric theory.
Thoughtful. Yeah.
And then you get to the milk and the meat, and then you're kind of rushing because everything you don't want it to be cold or get warm, and then the ice cream. So I think if you get all of the stuff, also I feel I don't know, with pantry stuff, you're browsing there, you're trying to figure it out, and then you go around and.
Yeah, that's really smart. No, it's totally true. Yeah. I feel like I'm always dropping heavy things on top of things that are getting crushed.
Totally.
Yeah.
And so sad when you find a tomato crushed at the bottom of your cart.
Oh, and then you're do I still have to buy it?
You know what I will say? This is while we're getting really off subject. Is I love when someone who is bagging groceries is really really good at it.
Oh,
Yeah.
That they know exactly the heavy stuff on the bottom, but and stack it up, and they do it efficiently.
It's also like Tetris a little bit because you want to fill
total
the bag.
Tetris. It's hard to do, and I always profusely thank them because I'm just it's the best. Because
Very important to me.
Yeah, you don't get cilantro on the bottom. Anyway.
Yeah. So I really just gradually started doing recipe work, and I really just loved it. It was never something I'd considered doing or really understood the process behind, but just kind of the experimenting, the kind of science-y side of the repetition of testing things, and also the creativity of playing around with different ingredients. There's something about that challenge and returning to the same challenge, but in a different way every single time that was just really intriguing to me. And I've always loved that I'm providing a tool for people to use and make them happy and bring them joy. And there's something very satisfying about that for me.
Yeah, you're very generous. You're giving them something that they can take and feed their family with.
Yeah, and solve a problem that they have. I
Yeah.
don't ever think of cooking and recipes as solving a problem, but for a lot of people it is it's a need every day. And trying to find ways to make that need a little more inspired, a little more interesting, I think is a pretty good mission.
And yeah, I feel that's so at home with this idea of cooking in real life. It feels like you're really solving a problem for someone when you can help them with Tuesday dinner and getting something that's really good for their family and feels good, but isn't going to take them all day.
Totally. The idea behind the title, which picking a title of a cookbook, I think is one of the hardest parts of the whole book.
Yeah.
I just wanted to evoke this this idea of a place that we all are. So much cooking and cooking content and recipes that we consume is coming from social media where everything's made to look really beautiful and easy and fast. Yeah. And I wanted this to be I don't know.
Actually easy and fast.
Yeah, actually easy and fast. And real life has other things besides cooking in it. We all have a million things we're doing each day. And so I wanted to create recipes that could be sort of slotted into a full life and make it better and more delicious and not, more stressful.
Yeah, I love that. So in your early days with Ina, were there things that, as you started to learn recipe development, were there things that she really tried to teach you, sort of her talking points around development or how food works that you took to heart? That
so many, yeah. I mean, a big one of the biggest ones is seasoning, and this is something that Dan, you and I have talked about. Salt. We don't need to get into that, but
we can. I'm sure we could go off on salt though.
That's probably not appropriate for the pod. We really got into it. Yeah.
No, one of the biggest things that Ina taught me is just how important seasoning is, and to kind of give people a benchmark. Different recipes and recipe developers handle it different ways. Some will give an amount, 1 teaspoon. Others will say season to taste. And I think she always felt home cooks are afraid to use salt. And so you want to give someone permission to season their food. And if you say season to taste, they'll just put a little sprinkle, and then the dish will be bland and they won't totally get why. because we all know there's nothing worse than putting in the work of making something and like going to get the ingredients, making a mess, everything. And then it's kind of like meh.
Yeah.
And so I think for her, seasoning was just up there with like the most important aspects of recipe development. I also think kind of thinking holistically about the practicality, and this also comes back to the title of my book, like the practicality of making the recipe. How many pots and pans does it use? What are you going to serve with it? How many pots and pans does the side dish need? And sort of just thinking big picture about someone's making this in their home kitchen. They don't have like all of the amazing pots and pans that we have here at Breakfast Test Kitchen. Like, where is somebody going to trip up or feel nervous making the recipe? She always said like, she wanted the person making the recipe to feel like she was right there with them. So in terms of the details of the language, like giving just a little bit of an extra helpful hint, like I'm just making this up, but mix the cream cheese into the whipped cream until mostly smooth, and then like a little note, like it's okay if there are a few small lumps. Because I think
little extra
like
nods.
they're just little reassurances for especially a beginner cook. To pause and feel like something's not right and then be like, no, it's okay. And so like the kind of voice that she infused into the recipes, I think is really helpful. And that's something that I think mine is always evolving, but I kind of want to strike that balance between, you want the recipe to be concise and clear. You don't want someone to read a 4-page recipe for a salad. Like, they just won't make it, but also just trying to provide enough detail that they feel confident all the way through.
It's like, you have to be kind of surgical, but then also sort of generous with your language. Yeah, that's a really hard thing to
Totally.
strike.
And there are so many of these tiny little points that go into making a recipe that might seem trivial if you take them one at a time, but put together, they really impact just the experience of making the dish. And I think the likelihood that someone's going to come back to it. They're going to feel like, this was really good. It didn't take me a long time. I didn't need any crazy ingredients. I didn't make a huge mess. And everyone loved it. That's like that's like the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And so 6 years in, you were like, okay, it's time for me to sort of like head off on my own. What was the thinking process there? Because you probably had like the job that people listening right now are like, oh my God, if I could like even spend 6 hours with Ina, I'd be so excited.
Totally. And it was like, it took me a while to like not be nervous at work.
Yeah.
But I think throughout my time there, I started, and Ina was very encouraging of me and my interest in recipe development, and would say, if you want to do like something on the side, if you want to like take some time each week to like work on your own project, she really wanted the people who worked with her to be happy and engaged and fulfilled. So I started at some point during my time there to kind of write my own recipes, and I had a website, and I did a column for delish.com where I was basically like sharing tips that I learned from Ina and then like giving like my own spin. And
That's nice.
it's hard for me to go back and look at some of those early recipes, but
That happens.
I'm like, just take the page down, please. And then, the more I did it, I started to think like maybe this is something I could do on my own. And around that time, I'd started to do recipes for New York Times Cooking, which was growing a lot. And that kind of gave me the confidence that like I'm just gonna see where this goes. And I worked a little bit as like a private chef for a family, and I was kind of like doing odds and ends. And also happened to be 2020, so it was like it was just not the right time probably for me to quit. But being just thrown into the chaos of like freelance work and trying to figure it out, it's just enough pressure to like make me kind of
just like
make it work, make it happen. Yeah.
Well, so you left, and then you ended up at another incredible spot with another icon of the industry, Erin French, at a restaurant up in Freedom, Maine. How did that go about?
I got connected to Erin through someone who I'd worked with for Ina through like the publishing. They had the same book publisher. And it was a similar situation where I reached out and was like, I'm leaving my job. I'm trying to figure out what's next. I didn't really have any restaurant experience. Like I had no restaurant experience. And that was always something that I've kind of felt a little insecure about or curious about too. Like, what's it like? Like, I learned so much about this sort of home cooking and recipe development method of cooking, but like a restaurant is so different. And I was just curious. And so, but I was also intimidated. And I was like, I'm not going to last a day in like a New York City kitchen. Like I'm going to cut my hand off. I'm going to get screamed at. Like, I just didn't think that was going to be the right path for me. And so, but I went to college in Maine. I loved Maine, and I loved the story of The Last Kitchen, which was all a team of all women using like super seasonal local Maine ingredients. It was just like dreamy. And so I said, I was like, if you are looking for someone, I'll do like anything. Like I'll do the dishes, I'll take the trash out, I'll just like chop onions till I'm crying. Like, and she said, okay, like let's do it. And I think one thing I've learned from this is like you kind of have to just be willing to pick up and go and do something and like make a kind of, it's not like a radical decision, but like Freedom, Maine, where the Lost Kitchen is a very small town and remote. And I think I've been fortunate that my husband's always been very supportive of my crazy decisions, but you have to make it happen and you have to be willing to do what it takes to make something happen.
Yeah, that seems like the lesson here is like just send the letter, send the email, and just go do it.
And then make it, it's kind of like fake it till you make it, but I think in both of these cases, like there was something about the experience that really like intrigued me and I couldn't get out of my head. And I try to like follow that impulse that like if it's interesting and I can't stop thinking about it, it's worth doing and figuring out like where it's going to lead. Because I do think in food and in many careers, like there's not totally a linear path to follow. And I think that can be hard. There's no like promotion to get. And so all you really have is kind of like your own gut. And I've just tried to follow it, I guess.
Well, so I'm glad you jumped to these different places because in my mind, the most exciting development in the recent times is that you've come on as an editor in residence here at America's Test Kitchen, which is just such a thrill for us to have you here.
It's a thrill for me too.
Yeah. So this isn't like you're just visiting, like this is home for you a lot of times too.
Totally. Yeah.
One of them that is just like, I feel like so perfect for this time of year. It's like getting a little bit cooler. It's really savory and wonderful is your white bean salad. So can you talk to me about the dish itself and sort of your process for creating it? Because I think there's a lot to be found in that process that like home cooks can take and use.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That one's great because it uses canned beans, which I think people love to use,
love
who want to
canned beans.
just have like a more veggie forward, meal. But it also has chorizo, and in this one, so it's basically it's like almost a warm salad. You cook. You brown some chorizo and then you add the white beans and some garlic and some smoked paprika. And then that gets like kind of smoky and like olive oily. And then you top it with some marinated cherry tomatoes and parsley and red onion, which is like really bright and a little bit acidic and kind of like contrasts the richness of the beans and the chorizo. So it feels like both hearty and satisfying and also kind of light and bright, which is I think nice. And it comes together in like definitely under 30 minutes, maybe like 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Nice.
And for this recipe and for so many other ones I have, I love to look for like kind of a superpower ingredient. And the chorizo is really that in this recipe. I use like the sort of soft chorizo link, so not the really hard like cured aged chorizo, but this is more sold with like cooked sausages. And so you dice it up and then you brown it and crisp it up in a little olive oil. And it's just like such a rich, intense, meaty flavor that then gets into the oil and then permeates the white beans. And it just gives, it's just like one ingredient that totally changes the dish.
Yeah. It like stains that oil, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
the oil turns like
ruddy,
bright orange.
yeah.
It's got this like smoky richness, and then I add the smoked paprika, which kind of like amps that up. But it's one really easy ingredient that just makes this taste like.
Yeah.
So smart.
I joke with a friend, like we always call it like restaurant quality, but it has like, because it has that really intense like savory richness that keeps you coming back for another bite. But the ingredient list is short. It doesn't take that long. And it does feel really balanced because it's also topped with these like really super fresh tomatoes and tons of parsley. Like I almost am using parsley in this as a salad green.
Like a tabbouleh sort of.
Yeah, totally.
Like
Yeah.
It's a star. So this is also a little bit of a throwback to growing up and a little bit of throwback to what Morgan and I were talking about previously. I want to talk about Rice Krispie Treats. Because right now we have this amazing Rice Krispie Treats campaign, this big week going on where we have this clutch of like amazing, fun, really interesting Rice Krispie Treats. So this is I think you know this, but this is sort of a throwback to our history where when we would film the TV show, we would have this big Rice Krispie Treats competition, and there was like a big cash prize, and everyone would make some really fun, interesting
There's a big
stuff.
cash prize. I missed that. Is
Yeah.
there a cash prize this year?
So the cash prize, the prize is like the pride that you take in Rice
That's
Krispie
even
Treats.
better than money.
Even better.
Even better.
But I have such a soft spot for them. I think they're so fun, and I love chewy textures and stuff like that. But so you developed one of the recipes in this campaign, and I'd love to hear about it and your inspiration for it because I feel like it probably ties back to your childhood in some ways.
Absolutely. The one that I've been working on is inspired by Samoa's or Caramel Delight Girl Scout cookies. So if you want to visualize those, they're like shredded coconut mixed with caramel and then drizzled with chocolate.
So good.
And
good.
I just thought like, first of all, the idea of adding like caramel sauce to a Rice Krispie with like a little bit of salt. There's already sometimes vanilla in Rice Krispies, so I feel like that would just amp up the flavor. And caramel has that like sticky, chewy kind of goodness.
Yeah.
And then I love the idea of adding toasted coconut because it gives it like a non-sweet dimension and it gives it another flavor. So I used unsweetened shredded coconut in the recipe, like the really finely shredded kind. So you have like coconut in every bite.
That also looks like what those cookies have on them. Like it's a very fine shred.
Yes.
I'm a big Girl Scout.
We worked on that. No, we worked on that because I did. Like I remember like looking at the Google image. Like I really wanted you to see it and to kind of recognize it. They're not round, like a Samoa is a round cookie with a hole in the center, but that kind of caramelly coconut with the drizzle. It just is like so nostalgic. So that's all mixed together, and then you can use you can do a homemade caramel sauce, which is incredible, but also there's so many good ones you can buy. So as I was working on it, I tried like different brands, and there are a couple really like very rich,
Like thick, really.
thick, like not the kind of thin like sundae syrup ones.
Yep.
These are like more like buttery and maybe some cream in there. And then once you spread that in the pan, and you use a lot of marshmallows. I also brown the butter. Because you want them to be rich.
Yeah.
And I also am like working against this idea of dry Rice Krispie treats in my head.
You're like, I'm
And then-
rebelling still.
I'd love to make them for my mom. She'd be like, and then there's more coconut on top, and then you do that beautiful drizzle, which is just fun.
They are so good and so fun, and the whole lineup, for me, they really stand out. I feel like there are, if you go to like a restaurant and there's like a dessert menu, I feel like they only have 5 things on there. There's something for sort of everyone.
Yeah.
When I go, I'm always looking at the chocolate, the hazelnut, like that one always gets me. And so that's my like world for desserts. And I feel like your Rice Krispie treat like checks that box so hard.
Totally. That is also my dessert category. I
It
think.
is?
Yeah. It needs to have like a little bit of salt. I think you can
Yes.
venture down the path of like too sweet in that category. But yeah. Like
Yeah.
that always catch me. I like a fruit dessert, but
What
give
about
me
you?
some
What about you
chocolate.
when you see the menu?
I feel like I'm definitely chocolate, but if there's peanut butter or any sort of nuts, I'm in. So I guess maybe same exact one.
Yeah.
I know. Gosh, if we go to eat, we're set.
we'll be good. I feel like the peanut butter
Yeah.
it like has a lot in common, but also
Yeah.
can be different. Like
Yes,
can send
totally,
things in a
totally.
different direction.
Yeah.
But they always have the lemon one, and that is definitely
Yeah.
for a specific person.
That's not
Yeah.
They have the fruit
me.
one.
Yeah.
There's the pavlova-y sort of meringue person.
I do like that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love the cheese person who does that for dessert. It's just
Yeah,
not me.
that's
And
good too.
I'll do both.
Yeah. Just do it all.
yeah, exactly.
Do it all. I like that. But anyway, so you can get Lidey's recipe right now on the app, along with I think we have 10 others, and there's something for everyone. It's like that dessert menu.
Yeah.
Really, really fun.
I got to try a bunch when I was here working on mine, and it was so fun to try them all. They're so different.
They're so
The
different.
matcha one with freeze-dried strawberries,
Yes.
crazy good and like
So good.
super unexpected. And
Yep.
also, I love that the matcha is not sweet; it's super earthy. So that's like
That balance.
balancing the sweetness. So good.
Did you
Yeah.
get to try the black sesame banana one?
No, I
That
didn't.
one's so fun, and I brought it actually to dinner with some friends. We were doing like a wine tasting dinner, and they were like, "This is the best thing we've ever." It was like they were like trying to pair it with fancy wine. I was like, "We're eating Rice Krispies treats with
Amazing.
wine," but it's great.
Black sesame
But
is
it's
such
so
a good
good.
flavor in
is.
desserts too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so Lidey, I want to quickly get into your book, Cooking in Real Life. 2 recipes that you're like, when you grab the book, you've gotta make them. What are your top ones?
Such a hard one. It's like
Maybe a
picking
s-
between
a-
favorite children.
Yes, it's true. It's true. Everyone's got a favorite kid though, so
Yeah.
True. I only have one, so that makes it easy. Okay, let me think. I mean, it is, we're getting into fall, so I'm gonna try to narrow it down to that, so I can make a decision. There's one that I think is really good for holiday, any kind of cold weather. It's a braised short rib, and a red wine braised short rib is like a pretty classic dish. And in this recipe, I use port instead of red wine, and port is a little sweeter, it's a little richer. And I think it adds like a little more, I don't know, like acidity. And I also use cranberries, fresh cranberries, and those add some acidity. And so it's a very festive, almost like holiday dish, but it's got, I don't know, it's got a lot of tang to kind of cut the richness of the short ribs. And that to me is one that just like, it always pops into my head first, because I think when I was developing this book, like when I was developing the recipes in this book, there's something about that one that really, I don't know, it's just a good example of how I like to cook, because it's a dish that's familiar. It's short ribs, everyone loves them, but there's just a few
Yeah.
different things that make you go like, what's in that?
I love
yeah.
that. Yeah, I love that. And cranberry sounds so perfect for that. Like,
And they look really nice
exactly.
too.
tartness and
Yeah.
astringency too. That sort of
Yeah.
like fruity. Yeah,
Totally. It's got rosemary. So that's a favorite. What's another one? Oh, here's a good one for you, Morgan. There are cookies in the dessert chapter that are peanut butter and ginger cookies, and I call them
yum.
PB&Gs. It's a thin, chewy peanut butter cookie with tons of ginger, and so you get the kind of creaminess
like,
from the
spicy?
peanut butter. It's got a little spiciness for sure. You know, have you ever had Gin-Gins? Those like chewy ginger candies. There's another
yeah,
brand,
yeah.
Chimes.
Yeah.
Chimes is
Yeah.
another brand.
Yeah.
I've had those.
So they're so warming and
They're so good.
Yeah,
and
they're
they're
so
kind of
good.
intense. There's a peanut butter flavor that Chimes makes. It's peanut butter ginger, and that is where the idea came from
interesting.
because it like
I've never thought to combine
peanut butter
them.
kind of makes the ginger more mild, but it's just I feel like you would love them.
Oh, I'm sure I'd love them.
It's definitely like a more grown up like take on a peanut butter cookie, but it's kind of
Great.
it's the sort of thing you can't stop eating, which is
Yeah.
also generally a goal with recipes of mine. Yeah.
so good. Okay, so the short ribs and the PB&Gs.
Yeah.
Got to check those out.
Yeah, check them out.
All right, so Lidey, I like to do a kind of a third part to the podcast here that I call the Rorsnack Test. so there's no ink blots, but we are going to psychoanalyze you through some food questions.
God, okay.
Some sort of off the wall food questions. So don't stress.
Should I be honest?
Yes.
Yeah.
Be honest.
Wait a minute. Have you been lying this
No,
entire
what
time?
if it's like my answer's embarrassing?
Exactly. That's what we're
Okay.
that's what
Yeah.
we're after. So the first one, I know you're a fresh corn fan. It's on the cover of your book. So I'm curious, what is your corn on the cob eating style? Like, how do you physically eat the corn on the cob?
I eat it like long ways, like across, like
Typewriter.
Okay, so you're a typewriter. So like
yeah,
you go
typewriter.
in and then you start.
Yeah, I
back
do the
up
whole
other
row
end?
and then I rotate and then it's just like a typewriter.
Like a typewriter.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And have you always done it that way? And do you know if your family is like everyone in your family do it that
Oh,
way?
this is like a sociological question.
Mm-hmm.
I have to assume that I learned from watching my parents eat corn on the cob.
Yeah.
We also were a family like put the stick of butter on the platter and then
Mm-hmm.
roll the corn on that first and then heavily salt. That was kind of the
So
style.
that is genius. My family did not do the rolling on the, and when I first saw that at like someone else's house, I was like, can you do that? It was like one of those moments. I was like, wait, you can do that?
Because you get like you kind of get like the silk gets on the butter and the butter kind of gets messed up, so it feels wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like you kind of
but also
sacrifice
right.
it, but it's like perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you end up with like that kind of weird like carved out butter piece.
Yeah, my family would do that. And we'd keep the same thing of butter for like most of the summer. So you're just slowly,
Wow.
Really?
yeah, in the fridge. That would just go in and out of the fridge.
Love that.
And it's just shrinking like from
Getting
the
it's just
top
you're just
down.
rubbing
Yeah.
on like an empty plate by the
Yeah,
end.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's probably not food. I don't know if it's food safe, but
Well, it's
whatever.
so much better. We would
Right.
like take a little bit and then you're doing the awkward like,
Oh, it's so inefficient on a butter knife and it's just falling off the
yeah.
knife. Yeah.
It was one of those things where it's like, wait, I have permission to now do this. It was like one of those moments. Okay, so you're a typewriter. I'm
What are you?
a log runner. So I go around,
Oh, like
rotating like that,
Wow.
and then I go to the next section, But the weird thing is I have typewriters in my family. Like there's like it's not, yeah, it's like genetics.
passed
or
down.
Weird.
How
It
do
wasn't
you
passed down.
do it, Morgan?
I do your way. Almost
Yeah.
exactly. Typewriter. And I like aggressive. Like if there's a kernel missing, I have to go back.
Oh yeah. Sometimes you go back a second time just
Yeah.
all the little
exactly.
pieces.
Yeah,
you know, like a chipmunk.
You gotta come up. Oh, the chipmunk. Yeah, we like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, so you don't want to leave anything on there.
Right.
which is-
Chipmunk / typewriter is my style.
which I think is great. Okay, so my next question in the Rorsnack test is complete the sentence.
Okay.
When life hands you lemons.
Use them before they go bad. No. When life hands me
So
lemons.
practical.
Yeah. I feel like I'm always getting stressed out that things are like going bad. No. When life hands me lemons, I love to make limoncello. That's not a snack. I mean, on some days.
Oh, these don't all have to be snacks.
Oh, okay. I love to make limoncello. I did a recipe for it years ago, and I just think it's like such a fun party trick. Sometimes I'll make it if we're like going on a vacation and like visiting friends, and it takes like a million lemons. So if life's
Yeah.
handing you like a big bowl of lemons, really all you do is peel the lemons.
Yeah.
And you don't want to get the pith. You just want to get just like the very outer yellow
Yep.
peel because you don't want it to be bitter. And then you soak those in vodka, and then you can do it for like weeks. The more you do it, the more lemony and delicious. But really quickly, it turns the vodka bright yellow. It's pretty amazing to watch. And you just put it on the counter, and then you strain the lemon peels, and you add simple syrup to taste.
Oh, okay. So
And
you-
it's
yeah,
so
you
it's
sweeten
really
up
it's
there.
very
Yeah, yeah.
hands off. Like it's as easy as like pour a bottle of vodka in. Like the hardest part is peeling the lemons. and then you just let it sit, and then you can put it in like a cute bottle with a little stopper, and it's a great gift. And put it in the freezer, and it's, I don't know. And then like on a hot summer night, you just feel like you're in Italy, and
Yeah.
That's nice.
It is one of those things where it's like low input, high reward, and it feels like special. You've done something. And,
Totally.
we have a coworker here who's a test cook who like makes and gives it as like a present around the holidays, and you're just like, it's so special. And you go back to it like, throughout the year.
You know, I was actually looking. I was on the Test Kitchen website, and there's a recipe for limoncello with cream, which is
I was gonna bring that up if you
so good.
It is
If anyone's
so
ever had
good.
it,
Yeah.
it's like, I remember trying it on a trip to Italy, and I was like, this is the best thing I've ever tasted, because it's like all of that kind of punchy lemon flavor. And it's like really rich and creamy. Maybe I feel like I can't even describe how good it is
Yeah.
if you haven't had it. It's got to be super chilled.
Yeah. It is.
Never had
So
that.
Never
maybe
had
it
it?
isn't for everyone, but I think it's like
No, it's so
crazy
good. It's so
good.
good.
Yeah.
It's like using whole milk, It's the whole milk version.
live a little. Yeah, pour some whole milk into your limoncello. I'm sure that's the recipe.
Or pour some limoncello into your tea in the morning.
Yeah, sure.
Your cereal, just,
Live life.
Yeah.
who says it's not a snack?
Who says do you have a favorite candy?
Ooh, this is a good question. When you were saying that dessert, there are different dessert categories. I feel like there are two really distinct candy categories. One being like the gummy, sour, chewy, and one being like a Milky Way or like a Kit Kat, like chocolate.
Yeah.
And I'm a chocolate.
You're a chocolate.
Chocolate, yeah.
Yeah.
I love, and I'm not ashamed to say this, I'm from Pennsylvania. I love a Hershey's chocolate. Like
Yeah?
a little strip with those 3 little rectangles, just like you'd put on a s'more. I love milk chocolate. I think
Me too.
dark chocolate feels just too serious. It doesn't feel delicious. It's not a treat. There are times when that's not the case. Like, I actually think I use dark chocolate in the Rice Krispies because there's so much sweet going on. But if I'm just like picking up a hunk of a
Milk
candy bar,
chocolate.
I want milk chocolate. I like stuff in it, little nuts, little swirl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't stand it, and I don't believe people when they say that they don't like milk chocolate.
I agree.
I think it is actually physically impossible as a human. It like just hits all of the right points.
Totally.
And we've been like sort of like indoctrinated into this dark chocolate world where it's like a health food, which it isn't really.
Yeah, if you want to, I mean, for me, it's like if I want a health food, I'll eat some vegetables. Like
Yeah.
if I want chocolate, I'm going to eat milk chocolate.
Chocolate.
Or, I will say, like,
agree.
to be fair, like semi-sweet, maybe like a bittersweet. Chocolate
Yeah.
is organized by percentages. So like the higher you go up, the more
Yeah.
bitter and dark you're getting. So like there is a range that I would consider to be acceptable for a treat.
And it's not like 85%.
No, it's not
cacao.
80. I think it's probably like when you get into the 60s, we're getting close to the
we're
edge.
getting up there.
Yeah, you should try it. Have a piece of milk chocolate and then get a piece of really dark chocolate. Try them next to each other. See which one's better.
The milk chocolate's gonna win.
Gonna win.
Chocolate's definitely
It's
gonna
not a
win.
competition.
Yeah,
It's
Not a
exactly.
competition.
Yeah.
I actually feel like in the test kitchen, most people are dark chocolate fans. So I'm glad to know you're a milk chocolater too.
Yeah, no. It's like yeah.
I mean, it's like more sophisticated.
Yeah, it's like, oh
But
yeah.
that's the
Not
whole
what I
thing.
want when I want candy.
Yeah. Exactly. We're talking about candy.
I'm eating alone in my car, like no one's watching. I just want to eat what I want.
Yeah. Hershey's is like so easily identified. Like that taste. I feel like I could pick it out
Totally.
of like 100 chocolates. I'd be like, that's Hershey's.
And I don't know that it's, probably the best chocolate in the world, but I think a lot of it for me is nostalgia.
Yeah.
Even like down to the wrapper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, my last question for you is you have to give up either burgers or steak for the rest of your life. What are you doing?
Burgers. Giving up burgers.
Giving up
Yep.
burgers.
Mhm.
You're steak.
Easy.
You're a steak person. Yep.
Yep. I feel like there's so much more versatility with steak. I mean, I can have any steak, right? Like I can have a
Yeah.
ribeye, I can have
Yeah,
a
you just can't have it chopped up into little pieces and formed into a patty.
Into a patty.
Yeah.
So I can't have Salisbury steak.
No. You are going to have to suffer without
All right,
Salisbury
I'm
steak
changing my
for the rest of your
mind.
life.
Yeah, I mean, I like a burger, but I associate a burger with summer. I just feel like steak is with you all year round. Steak is just so good.
Steak's your friend every day.
Your friend, there's so much you can do. You can make a sandwich with leftover steak.
Yeah.
You can just make a really good like herby butter that you spoon onto it. I just steak.
Steak. All right, so we're gonna get milk chocolate, steak.
Oh
You're
my
gonna
gosh,
have
like death row.
limoncello, and you're
With
gonna
cream. Yeah.
yeah. Then you have some corn on the cob. This is good. I feel like I understand you a lot more.
Yeah,
I would
great.
still pick the same tea for you. I still think
okay,
that
good.
hits.
Okay.
But I learned so much more about you today. This has been so fun,
It's
Lidey.
really fun.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
for having me.
Thank you for all your work here at the Test Kitchen too. If you want to grab Lidey's recipes, they're all on the America's Test Kitchen app. That awesome white bean and chorizo one that we talked about, the peach and farro, her new Rice Krispie treat. So much amazing Lidey, and even more stuff to come.
Lots more coming.
Lots more coming. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.